Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go around the NFL, as we always do. After Week 10 is now in the books in the NFL season, as we're getting very close to Thanksgiving, the latter part of the 2015 NFL season. And we had we definitely had quite a good card of games this past week, and it was definitely hard to come up with a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I guess as I like to say sometimes here, of thoughts that caught my mind around the NFL this past week. The various games outside of what was just a horrendous second, third, and fourth quarter by the Philadelphia Eagles. So around the NFL, starting with number 5, ladies and gentlemen, the Green Bay Packers lose at home to, of all teams, the Detroit Lions, who have been awful this season. It's the Packers' third straight loss. Suddenly, what was a 6-0 Packers team that looked like the favorite in the NFC a few weeks ago just came up with a stinker, I guess you could, stank or whatever, against the Detroit Lions, who have been one of the laughingstocks of the NFL so far this season. Albeit at Lambeau Field, ladies and gentlemen.
What the hell?
As Nick Foles would say, and he got benched as it is this week. But anyways, Aaron Rodgers, throws for 61 pass attempts and all this, and the Packers lose 18-16 to the Detroit Lions. Not good. Now there's a chance for the Packers to bounce back in Week 11 against the Minnesota Vikings. Number 4, it's Monday Night Football last night. The Houston Texans shut down the Cincinnati Bengals 10-6. People were writing off the Houston Texans. J.J. Watt hinted at this in the postgame. They were 3-5, going to play an 8-0 undefeated Cincinnati Bengals team, and J.J. Watt and company shut down the Cincinnati Bengals. T.J. Yates to Denard Hopkins with an incredible game-winning touchdown reception ultimately. And basically, with the rest of the Texans defense playing well the rest of the way, would basically stick a fork in that game. 10-6 victory. And a lot of what the news coming out of this game is in post-game was afterwards when J.J. Watt said there was, their goal was to make, I guess, what do they call Andy Dalton? The red gun arm or something like that. I don't even remember. Make him look like the Red Ryder BB gun or whatever. And certainly that's like J.J. Watt said, that's what they were able to do for the most part. And I guess apparently Andy Dalton was, bringing up, kids look up to him, and the way J.J. Watt worded it and whatnot, I don't know what Andy Dalton's really talking about. Like, I don't know. On that occasion, they fulfilled their goal, and I think that's kind of what J.J. Watt was saying. Not selling Andy Dalton short, but just kind of saying we wanted to do this, and that's basically what we did. And I don't know. Maybe Andy Dalton's their first loss of the season, a little bit of a sore loser. I don't know. At least that's my opinion. But anyhow, Texans win 4-5. By the way, tied for the division lead with the Indianapolis Colts in that horrid division. Number 3, the Minnesota Vikings this week. They moved to 7-2. They win yet again. This time with a win over the Oakland Raiders. Lost their second straight. And ladies and gentlemen, the Vikings now, of course, as I just talked about, with the Packers losing their third straight game at 6-3, the Vikings are now ahead in that division. And with that being the case, they beat the Packers this coming week, and essentially they will have a commanding lead in the NFC North. So that game is huge, ladies and gentlemen. But again, another convincing win for the Minnesota Vikings, 30-14, and they find themselves at 7-2 at this time. Very impressive. The New England Patriots, number 2, win it by the skin of their teeth. It's been historical that there's 1-3 record that Tom Brady has had against Eli Manning and the Giants in his career, and it's just like late in the fourth quarter, it was starting to look like it could be another loss for Tom Brady. Tom Brady throws a crucial interception in the red zone when the Patriots had a chance to go up more than a field goal, and that could have cost him the game. But with a chance, about 2 minutes left, to lead the New England Patriots down the field without Julian Edelman, without Dion Lewis, chance to lead the Patriots down the field with the time that they had to get a field goal. 4-down territory. Tom Brady gets it to where it's a 54-yard field goal attempt, and one of the best kickers in the league, Gradkowski, nails it through the 54-yarder. Very, impressive win there for the New England Patriots at New York, getting the job done and moving to 9-0.
5 letters here, RELAX,
and
relax. It'll be okay.
That was actually a misfire of a soundbite there, but Aaron Rodgers chiming into this edition of Around the NFL. And number one, I got to go with number one here is the actually the music winds down. Maybe that's why a soundbite misfired. But anyhow, number one this week, got to go with the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday Night Football, going up to Seattle, and basically, it's impressive enough to beat them in Seattle, but it's like a statement win. Now they kind of own this division this season. You can't say enough about how big of a win that was for Arizona, how big of a game that was for both teams. Because now Seattle falls to 4-5, and Arizona now sits comfortably atop that division at 7-2. Perhaps with a chance to, if not get home field advantage over Carolina, which seems a little difficult right now, at least get a first-round bye in the playoffs, perhaps, provided they finish stronger than Green Bay, or obviously Minnesota, who's ahead of Green Bay in that division, and obviously against, take your pick, whoever wins the NFC East this season, who won't be in any kind of territory to get a first-round bye. So, again, a big win for the Arizona Cardinals. They found themselves down late in the game, and they answer right back. Carson Palmer having a great season. It just overall, they've put together a pretty solid team the last couple of years, and this season they look like it. They have a chance for a deep playoff run here. So, Arizona Cardinals with a command over that division right now. I gotta say though, I'm a little disappointed with how the the whole catch and fumble rule, and I mean, Seattle, I think, was a little bit ripped off late in the second quarter. It was when, to me, there was a Cardinals catch fumble to me, but the referees initially ruled it as an incomplete pass, and Chris Collinsworth was saying it himself, like, they got to in the offseason, they really got to figure out, get to the bottom of this whole, subjectiveness or subjectivity or whatever to, the letter of the law of catching football these days. And these, I don't know, but it is what it is, and the Cardinals ended up getting the win, but I feel like Seattle did get a little shorted there at the end of the second quarter. Got to say that. Of course, the Eagles constantly shot themselves in the foot this past week. So we need to, I guess, in some way, shape, or form, we need to lighten the mood a little bit, as we do every week here in this edition of the Tyler Werner Show, by also going around the NFL with This Week in NFL Memes, and it's the Week 10 edition, and I think we might have some good ones this week. An honorable mention to top 5 thoughts in the NFL this week is the Kansas City Chiefs, who beat the Denver Broncos. Peyton Manning, now he's got a foot injury and he's not going to play this coming week. And Brock Osweiler is going to play. And as a matter of fact, Peyton Manning, ladies and gentlemen, was benched for Brock Osweiler after Peyton Manning threw 4 interceptions in this game. I mean, it's like this, a 9-16 touchdown interception ratio, and just, and obviously, of course, Peyton Manning in the same game breaking the all-time yardage record, passing yardage record in the NFL, overtaking Brett Favre, but at the same time having one of his worst games ever, it seems.
Chicken parm, you taste so good.
Yes, Mr. Chicken Parm, you taste so good himself. So, to start off this week in NFL memes, here's a great one. It's an interesting stat. Charles Woodson of the Oakland Raiders, pictured on the left, and Peyton Manning, pictured on the right, kind of holding his head out of frustration. Ladies and gentlemen, they're both playing in their 18th NFL season. And essentially, they both lead the NFL in interceptions. Yes, 38-year-old, or maybe he's 39, but bottom line is their 18th season. Charles Woodson essentially leads the league in interceptions on defense. Impressive. The guy's held up after all these years and is still playing pretty solidly, apparently, this season. Leads the league in interceptions. But on the other hand, of course, Peyton Manning also leads the league in interceptions himself, with 16 now. So it's just amazing how both, I guess Peyton Manning you can kind of see, but Charles Woodson playing at a high level, nevertheless. Now, last night on Monday Night Football, of course, as mentioned earlier, this is a big win for the Houston Texans with T.J. Yates under center. The moment you realize T.J. Yates is 3-0 against the Cincinnati Bengals. The picture of a disappointed Bengals fan, perhaps in attendance last night or just whenever. A picture of T.J. Yates, obviously. And yeah, they even pointed this out. Those 2 straight playoff victories that the Texans had over the Cincinnati Bengals a few years ago. Of course, when the Texans were making the playoffs. And now, once again, primetime situation. The Houston Texans beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Who knows? Now, I guess moving along here to, I guess kind of picking some memes. Just some memes, they're just not. They're not, I guess, the best. They're just not very explainable, I guess. Or they're just not great, with all due respect. Not necessarily worthy, I guess, of praise here on the Tyler Werner Show. Or, I guess, being noted about, or whatever. And some I try to click on, and people... And the person that makes it, like, tags all these people in it. And then it's, like, all over the place and everything. And I don't know. And then some are just maybe a little off topic. Like, one mentions ISIS and, that tragedy. And, but, okay, here's another one, I guess. I guess a picture of the and it looks like this was at a recent Eagles game, because I see a Philadelphia Eagle, a couple Philadelphia Eagles kind of like walking around. Picture of 7 referees, I guess a referee staff, kind of like posing for a picture, maybe during pregame warm-ups or something or whatever. Getting a picture here with the 7 referees. And, of course, being this, day and age where Facebook is obviously so prominent, the meme reads, like, if the refs have ever screwed your team. After there were, again, some questionable calls made this week, and I pointed that out with the Seahawks and the Cardinals, and just, very, I don't know, getting the rules right, calls right, whatever, just a lot of uncertainty, it seems, around the league when it comes to calls in the NFL these days, and like consistency with referee stats and everything, and it just, I don't know, but here's one with, like, I guess this, like, big classroom setting, like the kind of classroom, I guess college classroom, where, it like a somewhat of like an auditorium kind of classroom, where there's this enormous chalkboard, and perhaps like a classroom that has like 100 students in it, and this teacher just kind of like standing in front of this huge chalkboard with all kinds of like, notes on it and everything, and essentially it reads, and that is how exactly you beat Tom Brady. Any questions? So yeah, not this time.
To me, those balls are perfect.
The Giants not beating the Patriots this time. And I guess, and piggybacking off of that, is a picture of like Eli Manning kind of with like a front, like kind of somewhat of a disgusted look on his face, maybe like looking up at the scoreboard or the replay screen or something, on the sideline with his helmet off or whatever, and Eli Manning as if to say, if only that was the Super Bowl. Well, it wasn't, and the Patriots get the win. there's been all these like direct TV commercials, of course, as we all know. Tony Romo's been in them, of course, and Andrew Luck, a couple other guys. There's so here's a meme with two pictures of none other than Peyton Manning.
Chicken parm, you taste so good.
And the one reads, "Hi, I'm last season's Peyton Manning, and I have DirecTV," on the left. And then the one on the right reads, "And I'm this season's Peyton Manning, and I have a TV antenna with aluminum foil hanging on it." Yeah, I mean, again, a couple injury, like, and I was listening to like the, I guess like locker room interview with Peyton Manning, or watching it, and because now he's got this foot injury, and it's just kind of like sad, like, and then he's saying like, I have an MRI on my rib cage, like scheduled for this, and I mean, it just kind of like, I hate to laugh, it just like sounds like, the guy's breaking down. And, not to laugh at him, but it just kind of sounds like, I don't know, just like a bit of a lost cause, and like, I don't know, like a broken record, I guess you could say. And it's just it's a weird season, like with how, like, again, with this touchdown to interception ratio, and yeah, he breaks the yardage record, but at the same time he throws 4 interceptions and gets benched for Brock Osweiler, and it's just like a weird season with the Denver Broncos. And the Broncos, of course, they lost their second straight game this week, so, suddenly their defense, too, isn't playing as well as they have been. And after they beat the Packers a few weeks ago, when both the Broncos and Packers were undefeated. So it's very, very interesting. Very interesting stuff. Now here's an NFL records Peyton Manning now holds. Piggybacking off of that. Most career passing yards all time. Most career passing TDs all time. Most career one and dones in the playoffs, of course. Biggest commercial whore all time.
Chicken parm, you taste so good.
Second most career Manning faces all time. Of course, Eli Manning face. Hinting off of that. And the largest forehead in NFL history. I guess, like, pointing at when he takes his helmet off and whatnot. Now, here's one with... Alright, I guess for those who, I guess, are familiar with... I don't know who wouldn't be, but familiar with SpongeBob SquarePants. And Patrick Star, I guess, sitting what appears to be near the edge of a cliff or something in an episode, I guess, with their jaws, like, dropped and their eyes popping out, and, like, apparently, I guess, just, like, appalled or shocked at something in some random episode of SpongeBob. As my phone rings at the moment. But the meme reads, watching the Packers and Lions game. Who again, that's like upset of the season right there so far. And I don't know if this is, again, I mean,
5 letters here. RELAX.
I don't know if Rodgers is going to come out and say something like that this week or in an interview or whatever, but
relax. We're going to be okay.
I don't know. We'll see. It's just amazing that the Packers, upset of the season so far. And I guess apparently, again, Squidward, or I mean Patrick and SpongeBob, I guess maybe would have something to agree with that. I guess apparently the person that made that one. Moving forward here, as we try to load the next one. Essentially, well, yeah, I mean, here's, I guess, a casket with, I guess it'll be easy to see where this is going. A casket with Jerry Jones sitting beside it and Tony Romo sitting inside the casket. Rest in peace, the 2015 Cowboys season, after they lose their 7th straight game. It's not looking very good for the Cowboys. I mean, you're asking for a miracle at this point. I mean, yeah, Tony Romo could return in this coming week, but I mean, still, they still got a fairly tough schedule ahead of them, and I have to say, probably not. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Ronda Rousey, of course, in the UFC was beat for the first time in her career this past week, of course. For those who, I guess heard about it or saw it or whatever.
That's exactly right.
I mean, Ronda Rousey, just kind of, gets beat by, kind of, to some, I guess some would call it a bit of a wake-up call, a bit of a dose of, getting shut up maybe, or I don't know. But
Oh, man!
Big, obviously a big, interesting time after that loss Ronda Rousey had this past week. And I guess somebody took to photoshopping the NFL logo over Ronda Rousey's opponent, over her face, and I guess over Ronda Rousey's face, kind of laying on the canvas, getting punched in the face, a Dallas Cowboys logo photoshopped. So there you go. Another poke at the Dallas Cowboys. This week getting shut down by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, unable to mount any offense. They were up 6-3 for the longest time, and late in the game, the Buccaneers get it done. And for the 7th straight week, the Dallas Cowboys, 7th straight loss. And it's just, it's just quite a downward spiral for the Dallas Cowboys right now. And I guess someone took to photoshopping the NFL logo and the Dallas Cowboys logo and Ronda Rousey's face, as if, for her getting beat down and everything.
And no, I wasn't watching wrestling.
So yeah, another loss for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's see here. Moving along. Might be getting towards the end of the line. Oh, here we go. For those who watch Thursday Night Football, as we start to get to the end of the line here and cycle backwards a little bit, the Buffalo Bills, of course, another honorable mention this week. They get an important division win over the New York Jets. So I guess kind of like hang with them right there in the wild card race in the AFC, I guess you could say. The Buffalo Bills took to wearing all red jerseys, red pants this past week, and the Jets, green jerseys and green pants. Which I guess that, I don't know. I guess take it or leave it. I don't know. I think it was a little interesting. I don't know. What do you think of all green jerseys versus all red jerseys with those two teams playing against each other? Did it look silly? I don't know. Some people thought it looked silly. And with this Thursday night game, somebody, I guess, equated it to saying in a meme, your Thursday Night Football highlights and using a picture of what looks like in the 90s, whatever the red Power Ranger is fighting the green Power Ranger in like a 90s episode of Power Rangers. Apparently it kind of crossed somebody's mind in a sense that that's what this Bills and Jets game looked like. So, I don't know. It was very, very strange. And then somebody even like your Thursday Night Football matchup with the Thursday Night NFL on CBS logo in the middle. And on the left-hand side, they have green Gumbies. And on the right-hand side, they have red Gumbies. Again, poking fun at this whole... They wear all red jerseys, and Jets wear all green jerseys. Very, very interesting stuff. So, I believe that will conclude this week in NFL memes. Kind of had a lot of them, actually, so a lot of good ones, I guess, this week. So, that in mind, it's been the Tyler Werner Show. I guess we'll kind of get back to now that all this week in the NFL is kind of, we'll get back in the next video to breaking down what's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. As week to week, there's just no consistency. There's like no way. Like, what can you expect from this Eagles team? It's like you just don't know what to expect. That's the bottom line. So stay tuned for that right here on the Tyler Werner Show. Thanks for tuning in as always.
What defines the perfect ball? It's not just about size when it comes to Brady and Belichick's slow-cooked Italian meatballs.
I've handled dozens of balls over the past week. We prepare our balls over time. The texture of the balls is very easy to identify.
And that slow-cooked texture is one of the qualities that make Brady and Belichick's meatballs stand above the rest. But it's also Brady's unique rubbing process that only he has the authority to perform.
When I pick those balls out, to me, they're perfect. I don't want anyone touching the balls after that. I don't want anyone rubbing them. To me, those balls are perfect.
Once the balls reached an equilibrium, we're down to the rubbing process.
Brady and Belichick's slow-cooked Italian meatballs. When you're looking to make it a pasta night, or doing a little catering, like Brady would say, to me, those balls are perfect.
It's no big news flash that many people, you included, eat as a way to medicate themselves. You can choose to worry about it or not. You can choose to panic about your situation or not. It's clear what you must do in order to make important changes.
5 letters here. RELAX. Relax. We're going to be okay.
In order for you ever to effectively figure out and map how to get to where you want to go, you have to first know exactly where you are starting.
RELAX. Relax.
You have to be willing to change what you're doing. You can change your behavior.
Attention parents. Is your under 18-year-old daughter being cyber-stalked by a man who identifies themselves as a grown adult male?
I want to meet you and fool around. Are you up to meeting tonight, hon? I think I would like to shower with you. We can do it in the shower, too.
If so, you need to contact Chris Hansen and Company to bust these online cyber-stalkers.
How are you tonight? Why don't you have a seat there and get comfortable for that? I guess you're going to tell me next that this is the very first time you've done something like this.
Chris Hansen and the Dateline crew will take care of it. Contact us, and we will put an end to the cyber stalking that your daughter is experiencing.
Well, there's something you got to know. I am Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on computer predators.
Busted!